How do you end insomnia and get the tools to help you sleep, to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and get a good night's rest? I'm Dionne Dettmer. I'm a life coach. I help people who feel stuck get out of their comfort zone in the most natural and authentic way possible. Today, I want to teach you some tools to really getting at the root of your insomnia quickly. So the first question is, why do you have insomnia? Maybe you've identified that you are plagued with anxiety, or that you feel depressed, or maybe you've been diagnosed with PTSD, complex PTSD, OCD, or you just have an active mind. I want to identify and draw your attention. I want to draw your attention to a possibility that there's something behind all of these emotional responses or diagnoses. So 90% of our actions are governed by the subconscious. So there are things buried in our psyche that we're not aware of that are running the show. And those things in our subconscious are fears. And so all of these emotional responses, the anxiety you're aware of, the ruminating thoughts, the perfectionism, the complex PTSD, those are all symptoms of something deeper in the subconscious. So we need to address the subconscious. Today, I'm going to give you tools that are going to help you break patterns or break basically the subconscious's influence over us and take control back in your own life. This means we're going to get outside of your comfort zone. And for somebody who experiences insomnia, they often have developed certain coping mechanisms to help them deal with the anxiety that they feel around sleep. Let's look at some of these coping mechanisms. These coping mechanisms literally perpetuate poor sleep. So you can actually be causing more harm to your sleep than you're aware of. And this is something that in my own sleep journey, becoming aware of these things was like a revelation, because it meant I was in a position to now challenge these behaviors that I had. So if you linger in bed after the alarm, you're not helping yourself sleep in the long run. If you sleep in the next morning after a bad night's sleep, you're not teaching yourself or training yourself to become a robust sleeper. If you go to bed earlier than usual, or go to bed when you're not tired, again, you're developing patterns that are meant to cope with the anxiety you have around sleeping, which is not going to serve you in the long run. Maybe you change the position of your bed. Maybe you have a separate bed. Maybe you even sleep in the closet or sleep on the floor. Something that allows you to kind of not sleep in your bed. Or maybe you sleep on the couch. Again, these are all habits that we might not be aware of, but that are driven by the anxiety we have around our own sleep patterns. Some more habits that are basically crutches and keeping you from becoming a strong, resilient, robust sleeper are using earplugs, white noise machines, or face masks. By blocking out stimuli, we actually increase our sensitivity to it. All of the tools I want to give you are to help break your dependency on these external means of control. We want you to do the opposite. We want you to be free of all of these crutches. Medications do the same thing. Looking at the clock to calculate how much sleep you've got, or calibrate how much sleep you need to now get. That is a defense against the feelings, the uncomfortable feelings you have triggered by sleep. Okay, sleep is like a trigger for you, and it elicits negative emotional reactions. Instead of living through coping mechanisms, we need to address the root of this. We need to learn how to face the anxiety. I'm going to give you tools to do this, okay? Sleeping separately from a partner. Also, we want you to be a robust sleeper. People who have insomnia tend to limit activities at work or social engagement or exercise. We want you to get out of your comfort zone. We want you to live a full life. We want your life to be big and you to be able to handle it and it not to be a stressful thing. So we need to build up that resiliency. We need to help you go through this process where you're still living your life. Okay, so let's go back to this slide. That being said, if I'm telling you, hey, you need to cut out all these coping mechanisms, you might be right about now in a state of panic or at least doubt. How am I going to stop doing all these things? This is how I sleep. If I don't do these things, these habits that backfire, well, then aren't I going to just be in the situation that caused me to create these habits in the first place, where I felt miserable and I wasn't sleeping and I was just like, I'm just never getting the energy I need? Okay, we're going to help fuel your journey to face getting rid of these things, getting rid of the crutches. We need to basically provide you some rocket fuel. And that rocket fuel comes in the form of sleep drive. Sleep drive. What is sleep drive? Sleep drive is basically the amount of pressure to go to sleep that your body produces over a 24-hour period. So it's pressure to sleep. It's this need for sleep. It's the equivalent of being hungry. If you don't eat for a long period of time, your hunger will increase. And therefore, your efficiency as an eater will increase. You're not going to just pick at a couple things when it's time to eat. If you're really, really hungry, you're going to eat the whole plate, the whole enchilada. So this is the same with sleep. Over the course of a day, our sleep drive or our need for sleep or sleep appetite goes up. By the time it's nighttime, we have a big sleep appetite. The more we sleep, the more the sleep drive goes down. So sleep drive changes throughout the day. Now, is this good? Is this going to help us? I said it was rocket fuel. So is this something we want to increase? Yes. So the more sleep drive we have, the stronger we're going to sleep, the more deeply we're going to sleep. We want this to be fueling our engine as we face our fears. We want to be a robust sleeper. So let me ask you, what are we aiming for here in this journey? Are we aiming for 6 hours of uninterrupted sleep? Or do we want 9 hours of broken and light sleep? Which one is going to be better for training us to get us outside of our comfort zone? It's the 6 hours of uninterrupted sleep. We want to be sleeping efficiently, and we want to be sleeping in our bed. Our comfort zone, our bed is not our comfort zone, okay? It's become something that's where a lot of anxiety comes up, and we're going to face that by doing the opposite. The number one tool that I can give you that has worked wonders for me from my own personal experience is a sleep restriction diet. And no, it's not exactly what the picture portrays, but it is something that will help you reset your insomnia so that you can sleep and get some sleep. To have a good, what we're going to start off with is sleeping efficiently. We want you to sleep efficiently. What does that mean? Sleep efficiently. It means that when we are in bed, we are sleeping. We want the amount of time in bed to equal the amount of time we sleep. The closer those two numbers are, the more efficiently we're sleeping. The opposite of this is lying in bed for 9 hours, 6 of which we sleep, and 3 of which we kind of toss and turn. That is not efficient, and that is not getting outside our comfort zone. How do we sleep efficiently? What can you think of that we've already talked about that would help us increase our sleep efficiency? Well, let's go back to sleep pressure. Knowing what we know about sleep pressure, how can we increase the sleep pressure, basically? Well, there are a number of ways, but looking at this, we can see that as we go throughout the day, the pressure increases. So therefore, if you said staying up late, yes, you would have a high sleep pressure, sleep drive, staying up late. Here is your diet. If you want to face your insomnia off, if you want to get outside of your comfort zone, if you want to break the subconscious's hold over whatever fears are keeping you from getting that efficient sleep and keeping you on all these crutches and coping mechanisms and white noise and having your partner do this and that, here's what I'd like you to do. You're going to set aside 1 week. This is a week when you're not particularly stressed at work. I don't want it to be when you're in the middle of a divorce. Okay, pick a time where you have some buffer emotionally, because this is going to increase your stress and anxiety. The only way out of your comfort zone is through. So, therefore, what you're going to do is you're going to increase your sleep efficiency by going to bed at 11 p.m. for 1 week, no earlier. Even if you're tired, I want you to stay up to 11 p.m. Stay with the lights on, and you're going to make sure that you're not going to bed earlier. Then wake up at 6 a.m. and don't stay in bed any longer than 10 minutes after your alarm. So you're reducing the number of hours that you're in bed, literally. And you're increasing your sleep, what? Your sleep drive or your sleep pressure. Those two things combined are going to help you reset your patterns here around sleep. If you go to bed and you are not tired, well, never go to bed when you're not tired. But if you go to bed and you are not able to fall asleep, within 15 to 20 minutes, I want you to get out of bed. I want you to get out of bed and turn on a light in another room. Do not lie down on the couch. You can sit on the couch, and I want you to do an activity that is not particularly stimulating. Do not do work. Do not do anything stressful. Do not watch shows that are stimulating to your mind or your emotions. Do something calming. I want you to stay on this diet for 1 week. You are going to be tired during this. At first, it might elicit a lot of anxiety. Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to teach you what to do in the face of anxiety. If after 1 week, you are finding that you're sleeping more efficiently, the time that you're in bed is spent sleeping, then and only then, after 1 week, can you move your bedtime a little bit forward to 10:40. Keep your wake up time at 6 a.m. and do that for 1 week. Now, like I said, we're getting out of our comfort zone, therefore we're facing our fears. Therefore, whatever emotions we experience that are triggering and tend to make us come up with compensating behaviors, like sleeping in another room, these anxieties are going to come up. So what happens when you're at night and you're like, I am freaking out. I'm doing the sleep restriction, but I'm freaking out. I'm staying up till 11. This is horrible for me. I'm going to wake up at 3 in the morning. I have to work tomorrow. I have a presentation and I have to drive and I'm not going to be able to drive. We need to interrupt this. We need to interrupt this. This is all about interrupting these patterns, these vicious cycles. So when you're freaking out in the middle of night, it's 3:30 in the morning, and your mind is going 1,000 miles an hour, you need to do 2 things. You need to pause. And I want you to notice your emotions. Do this outside your bed. Notice your emotions. The third thing you can do is also write those emotions down. Really check in, what are you feeling and thinking? I'm feeling anxious and angry. What are you feeling? What's the emotion? You can even think of the thought. I'm really feeling like I cannot perform at work and my boss hates me and I want to quit. Write it down. Now, let's say you've woken up, you've de-escalated a little bit by pausing and noticing your emotions. If you're still feeling panicky, I have 2 things you can do. The first thing you can do is sit with whatever the emotion is, just for a minute. Just sit. If you're panicking and you're freaking out, I want you to just sit and feel it in your body. That's an advanced technique. If that feels like it's not on the table for you, don't worry. Do this other thing. I want you to do square breathing. I'm going to guide you right now with what square breathing is. This is going to calm your mind. I want your feet to be flat on the floor. I want you to have your eyes closed when you're doing this. You're going to take in an inhale for the count of 5, which you're then going to hold for the count of 5. And then you're going to exhale for the count of 5 and hold that exhale out for the count of 5. And keep doing that for several rounds. If you can do that for 3 minutes, you are building a beautiful practice, a beautiful, strong foundation that is going to help you disrupt that subconscious programming that is at the root of all of these anxieties and mind going a million miles an hour, insomnia, everything. This is the first key for you to start calming down your mind. I'm going to link 2 meditations in the description box. These are tools for the middle of the night. These are tools for not the middle of the night when you're not freaking out. These are foundational practices that if you want to counter your anxiety and end your insomnia, the best tools I can give you to start out on your journey. So I want to wish you the best of luck with this. Please seek out support to help you because, as I said, this journey increases the negative emotions that maybe you're trying to run away from, or that the habits around insomnia are kind of being kept at bay. Good luck. And I wish you the best on healing your insomnia. Okay.